Hello everybody and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to talk about how not to bring back a game that you killed off. That's right, we're going to talk about Steamforged games and Guild Ball. So a few weeks ago Guild Ball was announced to come back by Steamforged Games, a part of their 10-year anniversary. And it was kind of exciting. You know, they had a little video, like a little live stream, and during that they said that they're going to be bringing back Guild Ball after many years of it being away, after they themselves killed it. And for anyone who doesn't know or sort of have that sort of information about it, basically they chose to kill the game, discontinue it, because, and I quote, it had become too competitive and that was the players and customers' fault. So we were blamed, the players and the customers were blamed, and they decided to end the game. About a month or so before, they put out a teaser video with the CEO Rick Loxham, kind of sort of like teasing that something big was coming for Guild Ball, and we all got excited thinking there was going to be new minor teams and minor guilds and all of this kind of stuff, and it was really, really good to see. Little did we know they were literally about to kill the game. So yeah, so they've announced that it's coming back, and they've kind of done it in probably the most half-arsed way imaginable. But we're also going to sort of compare to two other companies that have brought games back. And before I really go into what Steamforged have done, we're going to show how to bring a game back. And two games that were well loved by two different companies, and we're going to go and look at them and as good examples of how to bring a game back. And then we're going to look at what Steamforged have done, and I'm going to talk a little bit about, if I was in charge of bringing Guild Ball back, how I would have done it. So let's jump over to the first company. Okay, so the first company out of the gate is Mantic Games and the Walking Dead All-Out War Miniatures game. Now this game was discontinued because I believe something to do with the licensing, and Mantic announced, I think it was around Christmas time or before Christmas, that they were bringing All Out War back, and that's amazing news. It's a really, really good game, and it's really exciting. And they said there was going to be more information in January, and right now it is up on pre-order, and you can head over to the Mantic website. There's a link, and it takes you to its own special website, and on that little website you have literally this little question: are you new or are you a veteran? Well, I'm a veteran, so I'm going to click on the veteran, and it brings you straight away to this page. Now, there is a lot of bundles, and they've kind of done this in a really, really cool way. And one of the really cool things is they've created this, which is the collector's edition for 2024. This is like the big box to buy into the game straight away. You get a wealth of miniatures, you get a load of terrain, an updated rule book, and all the stuff. Everything that you need to play the game is right here in a box. Now, if you're a veteran player like myself and have a lot of these miniatures, but say missed out on the Kingdom collection, you can buy the bundle of these miniatures. Really, really good. And Ronnie and the rest of the community team literally shown this when they announced that this was going to be going out, and were really open and upfront of, this is what we're doing and this is how we're doing it. And they also even shown some really, really cool things, such as the new Commonwealth things that are going to be coming in resin, and they're the new, this is the kind of the part of the game that wasn't, they didn't really get to go out last time, so they're bringing them in, and these are the new characters, the new miniatures, and you can get them now in a little bundle for £55. Now, I got to praise Mantic here because how they've done this, they've been open from straight away from the announcement. They have a separate website set up for this. Everything is laid out brilliantly where you can buy individual bundles and all of the different components, and everything is there. And they have brand new miniatures literally in resin, which is what these are, ready to go. And I believe the pre-order window ends this week. This is really good. And they've also said in other videos that later on in the year, these miniatures will be available individually. Brilliant news if you don't want to buy a big bundle and you're only missing one miniature. Absolutely brilliant. So this is a perfect example of how you bring back a game to market. Absolutely top notch. 10 out of 10 from Mantic. Let's look at the other company. Yes, of course it's Games Workshop and Warhammer The Old World. Now, yes, okay, Warhammer The Old World has had its issues and is currently still having its issues. There are stock issues, and I don't think it's really an Old World thing. It seems to be more of a Games Workshop problem right now. But it has had its problems. But still, how Games Workshop brought back The Old World was really, really good. They announced it 4 years ago. They kind of give us development blogs as and when they did it. They were quite upfront about how they were going to do it literally a year ago, and we kind of knew that it was coming, and they brought it back, and they've brought a lot of miniatures back. The game is being well received. I myself have literally been painting up my Bretonians, and I really can't wait, and looking forward to getting my first game next week. Yes, it's had issues. Yes, it's had problems. But what Games Workshop have done is way, way, way above and beyond what I actually expected them to do. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people out there are going to be saying that they would have really preferred brand new sculpts rather than 20-plus-year-old miniatures. Yeah, okay, I can make a video on talking about old versus new and whatever and all of this kind of stuff. I don't get free things like Tabletop Time who just want to bitch about old miniatures. But, you know, there's something kind of cool about these old miniatures. And it's like I literally spent last night building my Bowman, and there's something kind of nice about it. They're simple, they're elegant, they're kind of not overly detailed like that Baron was a pain in the ass to build. The older miniatures are kind of nice, and it's surprisingly they hold up. So I would say that Games Workshop have done a pretty good job in bringing the old world back. But hey, we're talking about Steamforged games and Guild Ball. So let's check out how they brought Guild Ball back. So they made a post, they've made a number of comments. Now, just to clarify this, that there are a number of things that's happened to Guild Ball after its demise from Steamforged. It was basically taken over by the Guild Ball Community Project. These were a bunch of people that were fanatic about the game, and they kind of looked after it, FAQ'd it, created 2 new teams, and basically were the custodians of the game while it's been basically shelved. Steamforged Games have stepped in. Now, their apology to the player base for getting rid of it and blaming the customers was pretty abysmal, pretty half-arsed, and very, we kind of want your money was the vibe I got from it. And their whole philosophy for bringing this back is not being great. Now, they've got a big, long, Guild Ball is available again, and all of this kind of stuff, and there's like moving forward of what we're doing and how they're bringing in a product owner, and which is Jamie, who used to be the main lead developer for the game, and they're talking about all of the stuff. And one of the things that they've done to bring the game back is, and this is the real funny one, is a print-on-demand service. Now, that's right. So it's print on demand. Now, I had to go fishing for this. Now, at no point have I read anywhere about resins, miniatures, and teams coming back. I actually found this when looking at their web store and looking to see what was available. Now, what they've decided to do is, this is it. The starter set is print on demand and it's an STL file. Now, there's nothing really being here. Like the rest of them, the miniatures and the teams and everything else, which I will give hats off to Steamforged for doing this, they have brought back in resin. That's good. But the actual starter set and the sort of getting you into the game is a free STL. Now they come out with this whole BS of this is the way the industry is moving, and we want to be at the forefront of all of these things because we're innovative and all of this crap. Bollocks. This is probably the most half-arsed crap effort, low bar, hanging fruit crap I have ever seen from a company when it comes to actually bringing a game back. Not only that, but this little miniature here, Lucky, for the Brayson and Brewers, this miniature alone caused a lot of issues for the pundits. Now, if you weren't aware, Steamforged used to have a partner program type thing, or what they called a pundit. You could apply to be a pundit and you could go out and run events, demo the game and everything else. Now, pundits, and I was a pundit for Northern Ireland, one of the first pundits in Northern Ireland. In fact, I was the ones that brought Steamforged over to Northern Ireland after the initial Kickstarter to get them sort of introduced them when they were pretty much very little known about the company and whatnot. Now, what you would do as a pundit, we had our access to our own little area of the store. We had our own little store that we could go into, and in that store we could buy green dice, token sets, templates, and a little sort of prize support box. It was cost about £15, and we paid for that ourselves. And in that you would get like a gold dice, a silver dice, a bronze dice, some random alternative art card for the players, and you got 8 Luckies in the box and a couple of patches that you would hand out to as prize support. Now, what you would do is, after a while of buying these boxes for your local events, because unless you were something like 32 players coming to your event, I don't think you qualified for prize support directly from Steamforged. It may have been higher than that. It may have been something like 64 or something like that, but I do remember it was ridiculously high, and here in Northern Ireland we were never going to get that. So we would be buying these little boxes for £15. Now, there was a little bit of controversy in our Facebook group that was only available to pundits, and Rick Loxham, the CEO of Guild Ball, of Steamforged, decided that he was going to punish pundits for selling spare Lucky models on eBay. Now, bearing in mind, we paid and bought this product with our own money. Now, I argued against this, saying that this is wrong. You can't punish somebody for selling something that they've bought. That's kind of wrong. If you would have supplied these boxes to us for free, then 100%, then that is right. But we are paying for this out of our own money to promote your game, and you're now going to kick us off the program if we sell this miniature. And lo and behold, they're now selling this miniature on their store as an exclusive miniature after basically shitting on their pundits. And myself, I was removed from the pundit program for speaking out against what he was going to do, all because I said, you can't do this. You can't punish somebody for selling an item that they have paid with their own money. And I was removed from the program. I got an email later that day from Jamie, the community manager, basically telling me you're no longer a pundit. So yeah, very shit company. I'm not actually surprised of how bad this is. Now, they have got the resin teams, which is good. They're selling the Lucky miniature. Shock horror. It's an STL print on demand. Now, I will flip over and we're going to talk about now of what Guild Ball should have been relaunched as. Okay, so Guild Ball, how I would have brought Guild Ball back. Now, Steamforged Games prides themselves on how well they deliver Kickstarters. Now, okay, Dark Souls was a pretty abysmal, but by all accounts, they have got really, really good at bringing back Kickstarters. They're really good at delivering them. They're really good at putting everything in there and delivering them on a timely fashion. This is a company that its entire business model is built around Kickstarters. Why have they not kickstarted Guild Ball? It doesn't make sense. So if they actually were genuinely sincere with their want of bringing Guild Ball back in a big way. Now, bearing in mind, this is a company's 10-year anniversary. It's also Guild Ball's 10-year anniversary. Guild Ball is Steamforged Games. Steamforged Games is Guild Ball. They literally started, this is what started this company, which was Guild Ball. That was their first game out of the gate. This is what made them a household name in the hobby world. You would have thought that a company that can deliver multi-million pound Kickstarters like Dark Souls and the Horizon Dawn game and the Resident Evil games and all of this kind of stuff, that they would be able to do a Kickstarter for a new starter set for Guild Ball. Now, hear me out. I said earlier in the video that the community guys that have been looking after Guild Ball created 2 new teams, and they have. They've created a Lamplighters and a Lumberjack team. Now, why is Steamforged not sculpting these teams in an official capacity of saying, these 2 teams, here's the actual sculpts for them, here's the Kickstarter, and here's the all singing, all dancing starter set that you need to come in? Why? If they were actually sincere about bringing this game back, that's what they would have done. I would have done if I was working at Steamforged Games and in charge of this. This is exactly what I would have done. I would have made sure that those 2 teams that the community created were made officially with miniatures. And I would have put them in a Kickstarter. You could have then added additional things and additional add-ons and stuff like that with the other teams and the other minor guilds, and you could have really gone to town at bringing Guild Ball back in a really big way. They've gone for a print on demand, but there's one thing missing from this whole thing, that the print on demand just doesn't work, and that's the pitch. Where are the pitches? Guild Ball is played on a pitch. It's played on a 3x3 playing surface. It's kind of integral, a part of the game. Now, were other companies selling different types of pitches, but they are not making them anymore because Guild Ball was cancelled. It was killed. Steamforged don't seem to be selling the neoprene mats that we had back in those days. There's no pitches. Now, there are a couple floating around, but they're pretty rare and quite expensive to get hold of. So you can get your STL thing, you can have a printer if you've got one, and you can print this game out for free, but you don't have a pitch to play on. You're going to have to mark it out on a piece of paper or on your dining room table. Really not well thought out. And this is why I'm like, are they actually sincere about bringing this game back, or is this just a 10-year cash grab? And for me, it screams 10-year cash grab. Now, they may be true in what they're saying, that over the next few years, they may get more heavily involved with the game and actually start bringing it back as a proper game, as a proper product line for their company. But let's be fair, they had that opportunity when they announced it. They had the opportunity of going, hey, we're going to bring Guild Ball back. Oh, by the way, here's a video for the Kickstarter. This is a company that does Kickstarters, yet they failed to do a Kickstarter or even think about bringing a Kickstarter for their flagship game that they killed and then blamed the customer base for. Terrible. So like I said, this is not how to bring a game back. This is terrible. And I don't really like being negative or sort of doing videos like this, but this for me was like a massive alarm bell when I sort of initially seen the announcement that it was coming, and I was like, oh my god, Guild Ball's coming back, and I loved this game. Absolutely loved it. This game stopped me playing things like Warhammer Fantasy 40k and likes of like Age of Sigmar and things. This game was a really big game for me, and I absolutely loved it. It was probably one of the best written, balanced skirmish sports games I have ever played. It was really, really good. So to see it coming back was really amazing. To see how they're bringing back just feels like a kick in the nuts, and that they don't really care. So, you know, yeah. So anyway, I'm going to cut the video here. Guild Ball's back, apparently, if you can call it back. You can go to their web store and buy directly the resins from them. You can download their STLs and print on demand for the star set. Good luck trying to find a pitch. This isn't how to bring a game back. Mantic and Warhammer, Games Workshop, in all of their failings with Warhammer, they definitely did a better job than what Steamforged have done. And you got to remember as well, Old World and Warhammer Fantasy Battle was Games Workshop's first major game, and they've kind of done it justice. Not really delivered with stock, but they've brought the game back in a really good way. It's a shame that Steamforged can't do the same. But if you like my content, please subscribe, ring that bell, drop a comment, share it with your friends, and if you want to help me in any other ways, you can check out my members area on my Patreon. And I'll catch you in the other video. See you later for now.